Hello and a very warm welcome viewers. You're watching the brand new edition of India Fights Back with your host Kriti Mishra. The Delta variant, scientifically termed as B16172 of the COVID-19 infections, refers to the mutations of the virus strain that go on to form a super infectious strain. This variant contains mutations from two separate virus variants, namely E484Q and L452R. The highly infectious Delta variant of COVID-19 is feared to have mutated into a more virulent version called AY1 or Delta Plus, one that is possibly capable of resisting even the antibodies cocktail currently being prescribed as a cure for the virus. Public Health England has said that more than 90% of new COVID cases in the UK involve the Delta variant. Indeed, the most recent data suggests that figure could be as high as 96% of new cases in England.
It's very nature of the virus that every month or two you will start seeing new variants, because that's how the virus survives. Otherwise, our immune system can defeat it. So what is happening is that Delta variant was already very infectious, and it has taken all over the world, and most of the infection that now we record, they are actually Delta 617.2. In India also, in UK it has become more than 90%. In India also, most of the states we have now 80-90% or maybe more of this. So that means it's most efficient one, and it has replaced all others. So and it is more efficient because it's more infectious. So it's probably 50% more infectious, something in that range. That means earlier if one person is infected, other person living nearby might escape. But now it is not the case. Everybody gets infected in family if one person gets, and so on. But having said that, there is not really much more than that in this virus. So that means there is not, except some anecdotal cases, there is not much of mortality or virulence and those kind of things. Though there are some exceptions to this, what I am saying, but otherwise there was not a problem. Even vaccine was responding to this. So now what is happening is there's one more mutation is noticed in this, which is K417N as we know it. And now this is, whether this is spreading more or not, we do not know. When you say UK Health is talking about that is for the Delta variant. How much of that is Delta Plus, we do not know. But what we do know is that this probably is going to be more immune stubborn, which means already it's not responding to or less responding to cocktail of antibody, which is considered as expensive, but is a treatment at the moment. And this might escape that. And since this is seen already in many countries, in 8-9 countries, so that means it is likely that it is independently originating. It's not that the one origin is spreading all over. So that means this is something which is very adaptive, this mutation. That's why whenever this happens by chance, this gets fixed and it starts to spread. And that's how we pick in our sequencing. So whether this Delta Plus or AY1 will be more infectious, maybe a little bit more or similar nature. It's a long way to go before we make that conclusion. But the fear is that this might escape some of the treatments and might have some difficulty for the vaccine because this cocktail antibody is less efficient for that. So that is a matter of concern. But otherwise, this is also coronavirus. Same methods can be used to stop the infection of this, like for any other variant of this virus.
All right, sir, we'll just discuss those specifics in a bit. But before that, Dr. Gupta, what sets the Delta variant apart from the other variants and what makes it worrisome? UK is talking about it, India is talking about it. What makes it so concerning, ma'am?
Okay, good evening. As Professor Mishra has said, that there are variants. Now, we name these variants as variants of interest, variants of concern. So let me tell you briefly about this coronavirus. This is a virus. It has got crown-like spikes on it. These crown-like spikes are the lifeline of the virus. In a way, they help the virus in getting attached to your receptor cells on the respiratory tract. They are the one which helps the virus to enter into the cell and cause infection. Now, this spike are the one against which the antibodies are formed to neutralize or to kill the virus, whatever in the layman's term. So this spike protein of the coronavirus is a very, very important part. It has got two portions. And now, as we have discussed over the past so many days also, that it's an RNA virus bound to mutate, the changes will occur. But when the changes occur in certain region of interest, like the spike protein, by which either its capability to get attached becomes faster, its capability to enter into the human body and cause upper and lower respiratory tract, which is infectiousness, becomes faster, or its ability to get evaded, means to escape the vaccines which we are using and still cause infection. These mutations, when they cause any of these things, then it becomes a variant of concern. In India, we saw this variant in the month of October, and later on in March and April, we know massive infections and surge of second wave was caused by this 6 Delta variant, which later on WHO named 617.1. It has got 3 parts, but 617.2 was a concern. Why? Because that showed increased infectiousness. It showed that it can equally cause infection in those who are vaccinated and the non-vaccinated. So means the vaccines could not prevent the infection. However, at this point, I'll say that now there are a lot of studies done. We have also evaluated the infections which occurred in the month of April. This Delta variant is a matter of concern. But the clinical nature of the infection caused by this virus has not shown severity. It has caused infection in those who are vaccinated, but not increased mortality or increased other morbidity which is attached. So this Delta variant has taken over the earlier viruses which were spreading in India. And we have found that now most of the infections, and it is also causing infections in those who have received the vaccine. But the difference is that those who are totally vaccinated and non-vaccinated is that totally vaccinated are getting a much milder, and there are no mortality, not much mortality associated. There has to be some comorbid conditions which causes mortality. But so the vaccines are so far have shown effectiveness. The variant plus, which is coming because of one more addition, has made it that it can also evade some neutralizing antibody response by these cocktail of antibodies which we're giving, which is again a matter of concern. But again, it has shown that this variant is very fast growing. But let us rewind our knowledge and see that how the changes are happening. In the month of October, you found UK variant. December, you had this Indian variant. Then 3-4 months, all was replaced. So, and now this is coming. So this is bound to happen, that there can be some mutations or the other which will occur, because virus will also try to survive and fight whatever armaments we are using against it. So it's natural that, and then it will replace, because it's infection, it will replace the other. But so far, as rightly pointed out, we are not seeing any drastic clinical difference in the clinical presentation. And the steroids which are used as an anti-inflammatory treatment for this virus is there with us, and we can actually be very sure of the treatment protocols which are available that can control the severe infections.
All right. So, Dr. Mishra, are we saying that we have limited data, limited evidence right now on the transmissibility and severity of this variant?
Yeah, if you're talking about AY1, we have hardly any data. All over the world, India has only got 5-6 cases known from the GSET data. That's what the reports say, which means those are the sequence and detected. We do not know the clinical correlates of this sequence yet. And in UK, there are more number of cases known for this, and some observations suggest that the cocktail antibody treatment is not that effective. See, it's very as Professor Gupta just mentioned that all these mutations are happening in the business end of the protein, which is the spike protein. And this mutation, the new one, 417, is the location that belongs to the spike protein. And this is the protein, the site of the virus that goes and first attaches itself to the cell. And it is important for the cellular memory, cellular entry. If it can enter, which means that the virus goes, the RNA goes inside, then it will make many particles and then immune system is dosed. So that is why this is a big hide and seek game. All the vaccines, and most of the vaccines are against the spike protein. Just only fear this region. Just destroy the key of the virus so it will become blind and will not be able to go. But virus also keeps changing its key each time so that it is still able to bind the receptor to which how it enters, the ACE2. But at the same time, it avoids the recognition by the antibodies which are targeted against blocking it. Against entering or recognizing the receptor. You want to occupy it before it occupies the receptor. So you can see how the scientists and virus are playing this game. And virus has tremendous capacity to change itself. Every 2-3 weeks, it will try new, it tries every time. But every 2-3 weeks, it will come with some success because one individual has millions and millions and millions of virus particles. And each one of them will have some mutation or other. It sacrifices all of them if one is successful, and that will go and catch the person who is maybe vaccinated, who may be having some early protection, but the virus will be successful if it is able to penetrate that. That is the trick virus uses. Keep trying as many ways as possible, and one will be successful. Random mutation and select for the one that is succeeding in entering the cell, given all the protection that we are having. So this game will go on. We know that this will happen. What I find a little bit of comfort is that the virus has not managed to dodge the immune system in any major way. Most of the reinfection or the vaccine breakthrough have been within the range that is expected. And even if there is infection, vaccinated people have very significant protection in terms of hospitalization or mortality is almost not there due to the virus. So though I think we are on a good track, so we should depend on the vaccine, go full-fledged and try to vaccinate large number of people. The reason is this, that if virus is able to do more experiment, it will come with more variations of its own. Which means if more people are infected, there is more chance that a new variant, new experiment of the virus will be successful. If we can reduce that process, that is reduce the number of infections, the virus also gets limited then. And then we'll be able to convert this pandemic into epidemic or something else. So no matter what we do, the most important thing we will have to do is to reduce the playground for the virus, which means reduce the number of infection. Unfortunately, it cannot be done for a long period with the lockdowns. So we have to contribute to it by mask and social distancing and taking care of each other. And few months, if we do this, virus has limited numbers, then it will not be able to have so many options. And by then we can manage with vaccines and all and try to defeat it. But if we take it lightly, the cases are coming down now. With the wave is over. Wave is not over anywhere. It just numbers we don't see. But virus is there, so the seed for the wave is there. So we should be happy that at least hospitals and all are little bit they have some breathing space. But we should try hard to defeat the virus by its own game, which is number game it plays, generates more mutation, and some of them will be dangerous. And so is the case with AY1. We should do everything else and also block the virus from playing with us, which is spreading the virus. If we do that, we can manage. Otherwise, variants will come. There is no question that there will be no variants. They will come. That is nature of the virus. Only thing we should pray is that they don't become very dangerous, that they stop recognizing the vaccine protection and become very, very virulent. That has not happened. So that means this virus may be having some limitations.
All right, sir, you made a very important point about reinfections. Now, Dr. Gupta, can we establish it yet that Delta variant is associated with reinfections? Because during the second wave, we saw several cases of reinfections within India.
Yeah. See, you cannot associate that it is the Delta variant which is causing reinfection. Yes, we saw during the second wave reinfections. When there was a G variant predominant, not this Delta variant, then also the reinfections were reported from the other parts of the world. So you cannot associate that this particular variant is causing reinfection, but we saw reinfections. Important thing is that yes, since it has an immune evasion, it is not so easily neutralized by the vaccines or the antibodies present. It is capable of causing infection even though your body has got infection. So the number of reinfections were slightly more as compared to the other variants. Now, reinfections are a very important thing to understand. What do we call as a reinfection? Sometimes there is a prolongation of the persistence of the original infection. So you have to have a gap of more than 90 days, 120 days typically, and you should have 2 proven negative, and then you should have reports, and then you should call it as a reinfection. Because most of the time when we say it's a reinfection, it is just an RT-PCR positivity which is coming for more than 2 to 3 months in a person, not much causing any clinical effects. The reinfections that we have observed clinically during this second wave of infection in India were much milder. The duration of symptoms were also lesser, like original infection. If a person was first time getting an infection, was having fever, prolonged body ache, and the disease duration was for 7 days, 14 days. But we found that those who were reinfected, they had mild infections, and the duration of illness was lesser, just for 2 to 3, 4 days. And they recovered. The RT-PCR negativity was also much faster during the reinfection. This is from my observation of the clinical data that we have got. So the reinfections were seen during the second wave, but they were milder. Yes, there are case reports of severe reinfections also. So that is why we are stressing again and again that even if you have this attitude of people that, I have seen many of the people who say that we have already got infected, we are over with our chunk of infection, and so we might not get. So this feeling has to be, told to people that it's not that the reinfection cannot occur. It's milder, but it can take a severe course depending upon the variants which are coming up. So the COVID appropriate behavior, even if you have got infection, a natural infection, you have antibodies, or from a vaccination, you have got an antibody, the COVID appropriate behavior has to be right on, because that is going to protect you. So the reinfection is easily preventable by your COVID appropriate behavior.
All right, so COVID appropriate behavior and also vaccinating. But Dr. Mishra, since we're talking about vaccines and the Delta variant and its mutation, there'll also be a raging debate about which vaccine may work better against it.
For the moment, the results are indicative that both vaccines are good. There is no conclusive thing to predict, conclusive information or understanding to predict that which variant will behave or which will be more responsive to which vaccine. It's just simply impossible to actually predict. The vaccine is a science in which prediction is not that simple. That's why you have to go through trials, and you have to do trial of tens of thousands and thousands of people. Then only you will know which one is good, which one is bad. So it is by trial and error thing. That's how trials are so important. And now, as you see, the vaccinated people are still being followed, and then phase 3 trial of vaccine will come, and then phase 4 trial, which is the real world data, will come from much larger analysis when crores and crores of people have been vaccinated, how many got, how many didn't get, but those things will take long time. What we have achieved by development of this vaccine is just simply a dream run, I will say. A year back, I would have never been even imagined that we'll talk about alternative vaccine. I'm now fully vaccinated. I never imagined I have spoken to TV that this pandemic will be fought without vaccine. But it's so wonderful to be wrong sometime, and the vaccines have come. The scientists have worked hard, companies have worked hard, regulators have taken a very intelligent approach to allow vaccines, which normally would have to wait otherwise, and that has really given good results. So I'm saying all this to convey that both the vaccine that we are using and even the Sputnik and other vaccines that are coming, they have been really very well tested and they are safe and they are likely to be effective against variants so far. We keep trying, we keep testing if there is any difference or anything or not. You may see some report, there's some vaccine antibody titers, one-fold less, three, four-fold more, but those are not really the factors. Body makes lots of antibodies. So even five-fold, six-fold, those kind of differences don't matter. So far, there is no report that shows that this vaccine or that vaccine will not work against this or that variant. That has not come yet. So that's what I'm saying, the reassuring point. That means this virus is mutating, but it's not somehow able to mutate so much that it totally ignores vaccine. Maybe that kind of mutation is not good for the virus itself. So we are lucky in that case. So we will know as time passes and more data gets accumulated. But we should just go and take whichever vaccine is available. That will be helpful not only for the person who's taking the vaccine, but will helpful for the rest of the people. Because as a collective measure, as a society, we have to defeat the virus. It's a battle that we have to fight as a population, not as an individual.
Absolutely, sir. And as you said, that our strategy is calibrated and recalibrated based on the data available and also on the evidence. But time for closing comments from both my guests. Dr. Gupta, coming to you first.
So, as rightly said, that, debating about that which vaccine works, how much it works is futile right now because it is an evolving thing and we are all growing along with the knowledge and the information available. So, you really need to have very good data, which comes with many years of collection of data, and then you can be 100% sure about it. But whatever best you have, we must jump onto it and should start adopting to it, like COVID appropriate behavior. Whatever vaccine is available, at least the trials have shown in a limited number that they are 60%, 70%, 80% efficacious. That means they have a certain level of protection. So must take that. Everybody globally and in India, all centers have reported in the second wave that they have not seen severe infection than those who are fully vaccinated, means 2 doses of the vaccine, which are currently available in Indian market. So we must, have faith in whatever people are giving. So we must at least go forward and get vaccinated whenever your turn comes. Till then, you should have COVID appropriate behavior. So yes. The reinfections, infections in those who are vaccinated are there because the virus is mutating. But thankfully, as Dr. Mishra has said, and as a virologist, I can vouch that virus is not going to mutate so that it causes highly severe kind of an infection, because that will be detrimental to the virus also. It will allow the mutation, which will allow it to spread from person to person rather than being limited to one host. So we should be hopeful that we should be able to control this infection in the near future.
Absolutely, ma'am. So the onus is on all of us to fight this pandemic. On that note, thank you so much for joining us, Dr. Mishra and Dr. Gupta. Well, viewers, that's all we had for you in this edition of India Fights Back. But before that, let me remind you once again to stay safe from the coronavirus pandemic. Remember to wear a face mask and wash your hands and face regularly, and ensure that you maintain physical distancing whenever you're stepping outside. These simple precautions are all it takes to defeat this pandemic. Take very good care and goodbye.